to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my two Oopschweg co-hosts. On one side, we have the one and only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And behind the computer, trying to figure out how to work Zoom still, it is Bruce, the tugboat, tugging on his own chain. Vindity.
What's going on?
Okay. Well, we had a kind of abrupt ending to Monday Night Football last week in a much anticipated matchup between the Bengals and the Bills. It was a moment that I don't think anybody has seen outside of Uncle Sam. And there was a lot of emotion on the field. Obviously, we don't know all that much. But what we do know is there's a 24-year-old dude, Damar Hamlin, safety for the Bills, who appears to have gone into cardiac arrest on the field last night. So far, the updates that we have is that they revived him on the field after doing CPR and using a defibrillator. He was taken to the hospital. He's currently in critical condition in an ICU. And it seems like the league decided to call the game because there was no way you were going to get a good football game out of them last night. And obviously, the most important thing was, how is Damar Hamlin doing? So with that said, everybody's thinking about this guy. Prayers are with him. We're hoping for a recovery, speedy one. And it was just a bad situation. I mean, it was an hour of watching everybody on ESPN try and scramble to figure out what to do.
That was actually kind of entertaining, I thought.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was just not
not
great.
It's not good for anybody.
No.
It's not good for anybody. You know, hopefully the kid's all right. Hopefully he comes out of it and he's good.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of surprised he stopped the game, but I get it because some of them Buffalo players were so tore up, there was no bringing them back.
Yeah, and
so
at first
I get calling the game. I just thought it was stupid that they delayed it, the 5-minute delay to the locker room. That was stupid. They should have just let him go. Let him go. Call it a day here. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, my initial reaction was, okay, why are they, because there was an instance earlier in the year when I was at the New England Lions game, somebody was injured, the ambulance was on the field.
I was saying
and,
the same thing.
10 minutes later we were going. But I don't think you got the same reaction out of the players.
I think that's the reason why the game was stopped, is because of the reaction from the players.
Yeah.
Because of the reaction from them. That's that. I get it. These guys are young kids. They really haven't seen that much adversity in their life. And it's probably the first time I've ever seen anything traumatic through them. So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. Obviously, those are some tough dudes out there, and they were all down for the count. But again, the biggest thing on everybody's mind right now is that Damar Hamlin's okay, and he recovers. Obviously, there's been no update from the league on whether or not this game's going to be played or when it's going to be played.
Well, does that game even have to be played? Would that be considered their last game? Buffalo
they still have next week. There is a game next week, and currently everything is as scheduled.
Okay.
They
could throw it on Saturday if they wanted to. I mean, obviously they're waiting to see what happens with this kid, but at this point, it could be weeks. It could be weeks.
Well, right, and
the
latest updates from Twitter, which take that with whatever grain of salt you want, but it was Dr. Sanjay Gupta came on here. I just saw a video. He was talking about how becoming familiar with the situation, he was when he was defibrillated on the field, they got his heartbeat back on then, and then he's in the hospital and he's been stabilized since last night. So
that's a good sign. He's alive. He's alive.
That's
dude.
good news.
He's
Correct.
alive, and that's a good thing,
Yeah.
not a bad thing. You know?
Yeah. So with that said, we don't know what they're going to do with this game. If it'll be played, when. Obviously, this game has huge ramifications for playoff seeding,
and it does. And it's a big game.
Else. I mean, yeah, it's a huge game. But obviously, they want to make sure that Damar is okay and all of that is taken care of before they worry about when and if and all of those things regarding the actual football game.
I agree, but I mean, I think it's out of their control now, right? That's right. That he's in the hospital recovering. It's out of the league's control. I think this game needs to happen. It needs to happen right away.
Well, see, if this happens in week 3 or 4, that's an easy thing to say. But here we are. We're in week 17. You know, these two teams are supposed to play their last game of the year on Saturday. And then we go right into playoffs. So the only way, realistically, in my eyes, this game gets played.
I'm actually kind of glad that if something like this was to happen, it happened now. I wouldn't want it to happen next week. And then they would say, oh, the 17-week season is too long and this and that. And because the NFL is going to overreact to this. We already know that. And I don't think this was in God's hands. I don't think there was any way to prevent it, any way to even deal with it. But
I agree 1,000%.
I just hope they don't overreact and make some stupid rules, and because that's usually what they do.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen.
No, and I don't think it will. I mean, this wasn't something egregious. This wasn't. No. I mean, if you saw the hit, that was your base. That was a base. Nothing happened. Yeah. I mean, this is nothing that the NFL could have controlled. This is a complete and utter freak accident. This is just something that, and
they need to keep it that way and not try to overjudge anything. I don't think it's anyone's fault.
Talking heads on the TV.
I don't think it's anyone's fault. I don't think this kid had any kind of previous condition that a doctor had missed or anything. Well, it's just a freak accident.
Agree. And I think it'll go down. I think it's going to go in the books as one of those things. Obviously, another minuscule thing in everyone's mind is most people's fantasy football championships for this weekend. That also adds another aspect to when this game gets played. I think that for me, the only thing that makes sense is if they can somehow get this game on a Thursday night.
Try to at least Thursday or maybe even Friday. I mean,
right, and then flex the Bengals and Bills games from next weekend to Monday.
Or like I said, you can push it to Saturday, and then let them play an extra week. There's 2 weeks in between the Super Bowl and that kind of stuff. They can push the playoffs a week and let them play their game and get it out of the way.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about moving the entire playoff schedule,
that's what it is. They're moving it right now. What's the difference? They've already moved it today.
What do you mean?
They were moving games around today.
Well, yes, but
for the weekend, for the playoffs, it's not like they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, but pushing shit back weeks. Well, that's a different situation than what time you're going to have the game.
Right. They can't get this game in on Thursday. When are they going to do it?
Then they probably call.
So what are you going to do? You think they're going to play Thursday? They're going to get a short week the next week.
I bet you they asked them.
Right.
Which they
would
should
have to play them on Monday. They'd have to play them on Monday.
I still think, and I don't want to sound like an asshole here or whatever, dude. They should have finished the game. I mean, let those guys get their composure. Let them come back out. Are you going to try to tell me that these guys are so distraught right now that none of them could come out and play this game? I'm not trying to sound like an asshole here,
right,
or insensitive,
right,
or anything like that. But I still think they should have finished the game. They've done it before. I mean, we're acting like this kind of thing has never happened, and it has. And it has happened a couple of times. And players have been carted off, and people didn't know what was going to happen to them.
It's out of your hands once that player's
correct. I mean,
I get it. Take an
injuries
hour
are part
or
of this
so,
game.
Get yourself, recollect yourself. But in my eyes, if I go down, I want you guys to go out there and fight for me, win that game, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but you know what? As far as being a player, I guess if you're going to look at it that way, but I still think they could have kept this. They could have kept it together a little better than they did. I think everybody was worried about him, deservedly so. But
right.
At what point did these guys just all kind of pack it in? And this is why usually when players would go down, you didn't see players huddling up around him and that stuff. Usually the players would stay away from it and let the medical staff do their job.
With that, a guy goes down like that, you can huddle around. You can all get.
I know, but at this point, this is.
But still, you can take.
This is why you've seen guys' reactions the way it was too.
So,
in the past, usually it was the training staff come out and they kept the players away from it.
When?
They kept the players away from the injured guy. When a guy would get injured, the players were always set away from them. The refs would keep them away from the actual player, let the medical staff do their job. And they got away from doing that over the years, and I think that's what transpires with what you've seen.
Either way.
He was listening.
Are you speechless?
That we were saying.
I mean, you could sit here and speculate whether or not they should have all I wanted.
No,
the coaches
I get
and the
that.
players didn't want to play the game. So,
yeah, they were done. You could see it. Josh Allen looked. He was really taking it hard. Travarius White, he couldn't keep his composure at
Diggs
all.
walked to the hospital.
Huh?
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs walked out of the stadium and walked to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, seen a couple of guys getting out of the Ubers. Stephon Diggs and a couple other guys. And I get it. Oh, so thank God that hospital was as close to the stadium as it is, because it probably saved his life.
Buffalo's not that big,
What?
It was in Cincinnati, Bruce.
It was in Cincinnati.
Christ. All right. So if anything happens with,
he can't.
If anything happens, with Damar Hamlin between now and when we end the show, I will keep us updated. But other than that, let's talk about the football games that were played on this weekend.
Here we go.
And let's start off
to lighten the mood a little
with
bit. Huh?
we gotta lighten things up a little bit.
Still thinking about it.
Let's start out with the Lions. And as we talk about this, we'll talk about what needs to happen for playoff positioning and if teams have already clinched. So the Lions obviously played the Chicago Bears and they've routed them very good. Too bad they didn't have that in them against Carolina, because we wouldn't even be having this conversation today. The Lions won 41-10. Jared Goff, 255 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 144 yards rushing and a TD on the ground.
That ties him with the record that Barry Sanders set 95 for touchdowns in the season.
DeAndre Swift, 11 for 78 and a touchdown. The Lions were clicking on every cylinder. And they showed you again what this offense can look like when it's on. Defensively, I think they did a very, very good job of stopping the passing attack. Obviously, Justin Fields, 10 rushes, 132 yards. They still had issues with that, but I saw they
he had 100 yards in the first quarter. He shot his wad. His wad in the first quarter. He was done afterwards. I mean, let's be honest. Whoever watched the game should know that.
Yeah,
because they were getting ready to go in for their second touchdown. He was so exhausted. They ran some kind of quarterback option play, and he runs out of bounds and he lays on the camera till the fucking quarter ended because he was so shot he couldn't even walk. I don't think it was a hip injury To me, it looked like stamina issue with him. I don't know if he was sick or whatever, but dude, he was done. He was done after the first quarter.
Here's one thing I noticed. The Lions actually, and they did this multiple times, they were putting defensive ends out wide to spy Fields after the first quarter.
Smart move by the defensive coordinator, Aaron
Correct.
Glenn.
Like that one play, Aiden Hutchinson had the interception on.
Yeah,
He was almost to the sideline.
They didn't rush anybody.
Yeah,
they didn't rush anybody. If you looked at that play, they did not rush one guy. Everybody dropped into coverage.
Him. They did a great job with that, I will say.
Yeah. That was an unusual play. I've never seen anything like that.
Super weird to see.
Mm-hmm.
Super weird.
And they knew it was coming. So
that's why I don't think Justin Fields really cared about that interception. It was the end of the quarter. He just tossed it up.
Well,
Take it.
You know what? He was done, dude. He was done physically.
Yeah.
He was done, dude. I think mentally he was done too.
Aiden Hutchinson has more interceptions than half of the fucking backfield. Anyway, continue.
So obviously Bears are very eliminated from playoff contention at 3-13, but the Lions have a huge matchup against the Packers this week. Seattle plays before them because the Lions Green Bay game was flexed to Sunday Night Football. If Seattle wins,
we play.
Unfortunately, the Lions no longer decide their own destiny, and they are eliminated from playoff contention. Now, if Seattle loses, that Sunday night game in Green Bay between the Lions and the Packers is for every marble there is. So, if you're a Lions fan this morning, you want the Seahawks to combust.
Correct.
But if the Lions showed us anything this week, it's that you gotta keep this offense rolling, because realistically, if you get decent defensive play like they did, you can beat anybody.
Chicago was pretty fucking awful, to be honest with you. Their defense
is awful.
Their defense gave up at the half.
Yeah, but we didn't just beat them by a little. We stomped them.
It's not that. Detroit is a different team at home than they are on the road. Completely different.
I agree with
these
that
games
too.
that they're stepping up in, and you're seeing them sack the quarterback. Justin Fields was sacked 7 times. 7 times. I mean, they don't do that on the road. They don't. That's the problem. You didn't see Daniel Jones get sacked 7 times. You didn't see Zach Wilson get sacked 7 times. You didn't see any of that.
You didn't have to.
They're a different team on the fucking road than they are at home. The offense has been consistent, and I will say this: Jared Goff has been excellent since week 12.
Absolutely excellent.
Since week 12, he leads
He's
in
earned
just about
himself a
every
serious
statistical
extension.
category from week 12
Correct.
to now.
Speaking of a quarterback hotter than him right now,
There isn't one.
the Carolina Panthers
But
headed down to Raymond James Stadium to play the Buccaneers for the NFC South title, and Tom Brady tore the hearts right out of him. 432 yards. Did I hear somebody say washed up? 432 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then the quarterback sneak king coming in the clutch. Mike Evans, 10 receptions, 207 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 45 fantasy points for him. Sam Darnold didn't have an awful game himself.
no, Sam Darnold
23
actually
for
looked pretty
37.
good. The turnovers killed them in this game.
You know what?
You can't commit 3
Stop.
turnovers
Stop.
against Tampa. You can't.
Tampa's
stepped up
defense
huge.
finally stepped up.
Okay.
Period. Tom Brady. That game should go on his classic reel. It was absolutely
67 yards
gutty.
rushing from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a team.
Awful. Absolutely awful.
They're not going to go far if they can't get that number to go up.
Chris Godwin went 9 for 120. They didn't. They barely ran the ball. But
Yeah.
Brady, that was a textbook. You've got to gut it out, and he was able to.
Great catches by Mike
Great.
Evans. I mean, he bailed him out
Mike
3
Evans
times. What are you going to
Finally
do?
show him up.
What do you mean he bailed him out?
He bailed him out 3 times. They were
What are
great
you talking
catches.
about?
You suck, dude.
No, Mike has is still a beast when he wants to be.
When he wants.
Seems
Yep.
like he plays when he
Right,
feels like
right on
playing.
those.
Yep.
You know, which is I mean,
Hey, does
it is
Gronk
what it
come
is.
back or what? What's the deal?
What are you mumbling about?
Is Gronk coming back or what?
Jesus fucking Christ! Nobody cares, dude. God damn it! Nobody gives a
Here's
fuck
hoping,
about Rob
Bruce.
Gronkowski.
I care.
So this Tampa Bay NFC South champs,
Stick
they
to
are
doing
in the
them fucking
playoffs.
Stupid AAA commercials he does. The fuck is that? Shit.
It's USAA.
Whatever. Stupid.
So essentially,
AA,
what this is
Alcoholics Anonymous.
what this is setting everything up for is a wild card matchup between the Buccaneers and Dallas in Tampa Bay. Honestly, I think that's the best matchup Tampa could get personally.
Absolutely. That's
Yep.
this is the matchup that Tampa needs because they won't get past another round if they're not facing Dak Prescott. They have to play
guess
Dallas.
what? Guess what? It doesn't matter. Do you want
They
to know
have
the
to
only
play
wild
Dallas.
card team? The only wild card team that scares me against Tampa Bay would be Detroit.
Yep.
Wow.
The Giants don't scare me. Dallas doesn't scare me. Seattle doesn't scare me. Or Green Bay. So hopefully neither of them make it. But yeah, I don't. Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. Who are you betting on? You hate both of them.
Stop.
Who do you hate more?
Who do you think I hate more, asshole?
Dak
Dak
Prescott.
You.
Prescott.
I hate you more than
Okay.
Dak Prescott.
Wow, that's. I'm just gonna
Um,
leave. You could shut up. Close the shop up.
Are you high, dude? Because you're mumbling. You're mumbling.
First of all, I have no voice
Why don't you have a voice?
because I lost it at the Lions
It
game.
was 2 fucking days ago.
Yeah, well, it takes time.
Stop
It's
swallowing
coming
that
back.
jizz and you'll be fine.
coming
dude.
back.
What the fuck, dude?
It's coming back. It takes time.
Okay.
It's called recovery.
Whatever. Did you see the picture he posted? I'm sorry, he didn't post, but Joseph posted. You know, this guy goes to Lions games and doesn't post any kind of fucking shit.
That was his girlfriend that posted that.
Oh, was
Not
it?
me.
Was it? It's a good thing she did. it. You
Joseph?
know why? Because you looked ridiculous.
Oh, I look Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I hope I look more ridiculous next week.
In a game that had absolutely no playoff ramifications, both teams were eliminated. And former Lions practice squad player David Blow,
Fuck yeah, baby.
starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, headed to Atlanta to play the Falcons. Falcons ended up besting the Cardinals 20-19. Game was a shit show. I mean, it was David Blau versus Desmond Ritter. James Conner, 16 for 79.
That rookie tight end they got looked good.
Trey McBride, 7
he looked
receptions,
real
78
good.
yards and a touchdown. He had a decent little game. On the other side of the ball, Tyler Algier, 20 for 83. And Desmond Ritter doesn't. He was 19 for 169.
And McCole Pruitt, I have no idea who this guy is. He caught 4 passes for 49 yards.
He's Kyle Pitt's backup.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who he
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
but I'd ask.
both
Never
those
heard of
teams
him.
suck. The Falcons and Cardinals both eliminated from playoff contention. You know something? The Cardinals started out the year with so much talent, and you want to talk about a team that was absolutely decimated by injury.
I can't believe they haven't moved on from Kingsbury. I think that's coming next week after they lose.
No, you want to know what? I think next year will be the shit or get off the pot year for Kingsbury.
You think so? You don't think he's going to get it Black Monday?
I don't.
Okay.
There's too much that happened this year. I mean, Hopkins out the first 6 weeks. As soon as he comes back, Kyler gets hurt. Buda Baker in and out of the lineup all year. I mean, they were impacted very badly by injuries. You know,
I don't think he did a very good job of coaching either, dude.
I don't think he did a good job of
he's
coaching.
Huh?
I'm not defending him. I don't think he did a very good job of coaching either.
Yeah.
Because with the amount of talent that team has, to only come out of it with 4 wins,
I
is
think
poopy.
he could be an axe on Black Monday.
Well,
I do have that feeling.
I really think you don't sign Kyler Murray to that mega extension if you're gonna get rid of Cliff Cling.
No, that's true.
Whatever the fuck is.
I guess one of the only pluses you could say right now about the Cardinals is J.J. Watt has over 10 sacks. For a guy who was washed up, that's not too bad.
So you're willing to give one has-been some props, but
Well,
not
I'm
another?
giving him props because he's retiring, and unlike other people, I'm sure when he says he's done, he's done. Not staying around to pad his stats.
No, it's to get more rings.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you can.
I can't hear him.
The Broncos
You can't see him. So you
headed
can
to
say-
why are you
Arrowhead.
doing that, dude? Get that the fuck off
because I'm
there.
making. I have to do shit.
I want to see him.
You can hear him.
I want to see him. Put it back on the TV, asshole. Thank you.
Are we done?
Done
Yeah.
what? Let's go. We had such
The Broncos
technical
headed to
difficulty
Arrowhead
here.
to play the Chiefs. Currently, the Chiefs are standing in the top spot in the AFC. They have already won their division. They have not clinched.
And I will say this: you were wrong. They played up to their expectations. That's for sure.
Who?
Kansas City.
I mean, they
That
played
was no
down-
blowout by any
They
means.
played down to.
No, you're
Because
right.
we
They-
both said they were going to shoot them, and
I
then
thought they would.
I said they're gonna play down.
they played pretty damn good. Russell Wilson looked pretty good.
I mean, Russell Wilson looked okay. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett's already gone. The Broncos have a lot to do in the offseason. And I mean, they're starting
I
to use
will say this: I
phrases.
seen a play that Russell Wilson got picked up and body slammed on, and there was no roughing call at all, and
I saw
probably
that
because
too.
it was
That was
Russell
awful.
Wilson.
Yeah.
And you know, he's not the darling of the NFL anymore. They don't give a fuck about him. He literally got picked up and body slammed, and there was no flag. And that was malicious too. The guy should probably been ejected, no? What do you think? I know you've seen the play.
I did see the play.
Yeah.
It should have been a flag for sure.
At least, no?
Yeah. They missed the bad one.
They missed that. That was horrible.
It was awful.
Don't get me started with the flags.
Patrick, did you see Patrick Mahomes? Real cute little.
You know, Patty Mahomes is what Patty Mahomes is.
The throw to himself.
Kadarius Toney, 4 receptions for
It's a
71 yards in this game.
PPTI, Patty.
Jarek McKinnon, 5 receptions, 52 yards, 2 touchdowns.
This
guy's
guy
just
continues
absolutely
to.
taking the world
He's
by
on
storm
fire
right now.
Huh?
I mean, on fire.
Guy's on fire. He's unstoppable right now in fantasy.
Yep. I mean,
Hey,
You're not in fantasy.
Hey,
I'm not in
mark
fantasy.
my words. This asshole going to go high next year in fantasy.
Yeah,
Jarek
and then
McKinnon.
probably
Five
come out
in the
and do
last
exactly
5
what he
games.
did.
Yes.
Go off to the end
Listen
of
to
the
this. Listen to this, asshole. Go ahead.
he has 8 touchdowns in the last 5 games, 7 of them coming through the air. The numbers this guy's putting up right now are just incredible. I mean,
Yeah, he's on fire, dude.
yeah, and the Chiefs are not running the ball either. I mean, Pacheco, 9 rushes,
9
31
carries.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. They're not even trying to run the ball. So it's working.
They had 46 yards total rushing. 46.
Yeah. Yep.
God dang it, the goddamn.
Obviously, Denver season.
But if Patty Mahomes is going to throw the ball 45, 50 times a game, his chances of turning the ball over are even better. He had 2 turnovers in this game.
Correct.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the biggest thing for the Chiefs going forward and for Mahomes, if the offense
want home
keeps playing
field.
the way it, yeah, and I mean realistically right now, with the situation that happened last night, that's what they're in the spot for.
Correct.
At the end of the day, if the Chiefs can play defense, which they forgot how to play defense this weekend because they should have throttle fucked the Broncos. If they can play defense, they're going to go deep into the playoffs. That's it, because their offense can beat anybody. That's it in a nutshell. One team who desperately needs to get their quarterback, offense, CTE situation figured out is the Miami Dolphins. They essentially gave a win away.
Went down again. The guy got stiff-armed on a pick six, and he's out.
Yeah.
These guys are made like paper mache right now.
Yep.
What the fuck is the deal in Miami? Their quarterbacks get pushed to the ground and they have a concussion.
I mean, everybody in Miami's hurt.
Ha.
Everybody in Miami's hurt.
Yeah. And they lost to the Patriots.
You want to know what's really bad?
You want to know what's really bad? The Patriots could make the fucking playoffs next week.
You want to know what's really bad?
Yes.
When Raheem Mostert is the leading receiver for the Miami Dolphins. With Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Sherfield.
I mean, I was watching Bridgewater. He did not look bad. He hooked up on a couple of deep passes. He didn't look that bad. But the Patriots defense stood tall. I'll give them that, man. They were aggressive. They were picking the ball off. They were incredible yesterday, Sunday.
Well,
they look good. They look like the Patriot defense of old.
If Tua doesn't play, Miami's done. You can write it.
Well, I think we said that already. If Tua was out the next 2 games, you could throw the dirt on him.
Correct. So now New England's in a situation where they win, they're in.
Correct. They play Buffalo
Dolphins
next
play
week.
The Jets,
Buffalo's at home.
and New England plays Buffalo. And you want to know what? It'll be interesting to see if this Buffalo team comes out with any sort of.
Yes. You're absolutely right. This could backfire on them big time. And guess what? They might not even secure themselves home field.
Well, this is what I said. After seeing what went on last night with Buffalo and everything else, I feel like one of two outcomes happen from that. Either the team is deflated and you're not going to get anything out of them the rest of this year, or they're going to go out and run the table. Yeah.
But I'll tell you this much, and I'm going to say this. The momentum of the game told me everything said Cincinnati to me. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but I think Cincinnati was outplaying them to that point.
Through the first 10 minutes of that game, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well,
the game only lasted 10 minutes. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Realistically, if New England does hop into that bottom wild card spot, outside of playing Buffalo again 2 weeks in a row, they don't scare me.
Who?
New England.
Well, I would be a little nervous if I was one of those top teams having to play them. You don't know what to expect. Their defense is really good. Their secondary is very good.
I'd rather play New England than the Chargers right now. I'm still going to stick with Jacksonville as my sleeper.
What are you more scared of, New England or Baltimore?
New England. Baltimore is the biggest fucking fluke. Baltimore is the biggest joke in the NFL right now. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. But they are the worst 10-win football team I've ever seen. You think the Baltimore
Ravens are a bigger joke than the Minnesota Vikings right now?
Yes.
Even with the way they got ass pummeled?
Even by the way that the Vikings got bent over and dealt with.
Aaron Rodgers almost looked like the Aaron Rodgers of old. Almost.
Let's talk about that game. We'll get right into it. The Vikings headed to Lambeau to play Green Bay. And guess what? It was a 4:00 game.
Yes, Kirk Cousins. You made the call about the 4:00 games. Kirk Cousins was god fucking awful.
Awful. Absolutely atrocious. 18 for 31, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, sacked twice. And then they brought in Nate Mullins, 4 for 4 and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook, 9 for 27.
Madsen, 8 attempts for 38. He was the leading rusher.
Justin Jefferson, 1 reception, 15 yards.
That kid was losing his mind on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He was
And
losing his
understandably
mind.
so. I mean, the whole Vikings thing makes no sense because they have these games this year where you're like, oh, wow, this team is fucking awful. And then they have games after where they're like, they look good. But realistically,
they've won 12 games they should have lost.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they won 12 games within a field goal. Each game was within a field goal. 12 games. They're the only team in the NFL to do it.
At the end of the day, if he's playing,
if they had to play a fucking 4 o'clock game, they're all done, dude.
Oh yeah, done.
You know those playoff games don't start till later too.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's going to happen to them is they're going to win this division. They're going to get a home game against somebody, and they're going to get pummeled.
Pummel fucked.
Unless they can
Are you
play
calling
at 1
a Viking
o'clock.
smash fucking?
If they're not playing at 1 o'clock, they're going to get pummeled.
I agree with you. And realistically, I'm not going to lie to you. The Packers looked like they were fucking rolling.
Their defense looked outstanding.
Yeah, it did. And I have not been more excited for a Lions game than I am for.
Well, that's
if
because
Seattle
you know
loses,
what? The Detroit Lions are going into week 18, which is like a playoff game for them. And this it's for all the marbles.
it's with something relevant.
If they could somehow go into Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, I mean, I think if Seattle wins, it kind of diminishes it a little bit.
LA's gonna fucking beat Seattle.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to kind of diminish the game a little bit. I do. But you know what? If you got a chance to knock Aaron Rodgers out of the fucking playoffs, that should be motivation enough to get you fired up to play.
Fired up. Yep.
I don't know what you think of that, but
I do. I agree with you.
Not as fired up as it would be to learn that Seattle lost, and
well, they're going to find out. They're going to know regardless.
Yeah, they'll know before that game starts.
They'll know before they take the
I don't
field.
think they'll even want to know. You think they want to know?
Fuck yeah, they'll want to know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Keep it.
What I'm afraid of is if they find out that Seattle wins, that they're going to come out and lay an egg on the road, because they've done that twice this year on the road. They've laid eggs big time.
Yep, I agree 1,000%.
You agree with that? A la New England, a la Carolina.
Yes.
You know, even the Jet game, you could say they kind of laid an egg there. They barely won that game.
That's because the Jets laid an egg too.
No, but they laid eggs on the road. Every road game that they played,
regardless,
outside the New York Giants, has been abysmal.
Awful. If you are Dan Campbell, it doesn't matter if Seattle wins by 100, loses by 100, any of it. You get that team to a point where they want to go out there and absolutely throttle the Packers, because the best gift they could give themselves if Seattle wins, the best bow they could put on this season,
go
if Seattle
5-1 in the division,
go 5-1 in the division and eliminate the Packers. That's moxie.
Right. That's good coaching.
Correct.
That's good coaching to a young team.
Yep. You send Aaron Rodgers to the golf course. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Next up. I don't even want to talk about this one. The Colts went to New York to play the Giants. Nick Foles.
Poop game.
Big day.
God bless
8 completions,
Brian
81
Dabo.
yards. Sam Ellinger came in, 9 receptions, 60 yards, or 9 completions, 60 yards. Is honest to God, we were talking about it last week. Who's the bigger shit show, the Colts or the Broncos? I think it might be the Colts. The Colts are fucking awful.
Yeah, they did not look good.
Where do you even go?
They did not look good. And that's why I was saying I think Denver has more talent than
you're right.
Than the Colts. I think that's a better opportunity. But how about Daniel Jones, dude? That guy took over that game, dude. And I was like, damn, who am I watching here? Took over that game.
Pull out an apology.
He was outstanding. 2 passing touchdowns. 11 carries for 91 yards rushing and 2 rushing touchdowns. He was the man.
He did have a very nice day on the
And
ground.
they said they were going to re-sign him and Saquon Barkley here in the offseason.
I don't know about all that.
That's what they said.
We could just
God bless Brian Dabo. He took a shit team. He took a team that was not very good, and they're in the playoffs. And you
Listen.
got to give him a rookie head coach. You got to give him all the credit in the world. And
The
he's
Giants are
lost
indeed a
games
playoff
against
team.
teams. Huh?
Okay, listen to me.
You don't agree with
You
that?
really think Daniel Jones is
No,
the
I don't
guy?
think he's. I don't think anything. You know what I think? I think their defense is outstanding. Kayvon Thibodeau with another big game, by the way. He's becoming the game wrecker we all thought he was going to be.
Okay.
What?
What are
Oh,
you
somebody's
doing,
out of
man?
it right now.
Sorry.
I'm going to take a picture of that and post it on the thing, by the way.
The Giants, I think, as a 9-win football team. I mean, I don't think I'd give Daniel Jones the keys to the kingdom off of a 9-win
I
season.
think we should give Daniel Jones the keys of the kingdom.
Why?
Why?
What has he shown you this
I'm
year?
absolutely joking. You know
Oh,
what?
okay.
They got to go into Philly this week and play Philadelphia. And I know it's
Yeah, they got to go
kind of
into
a
Philly
meaningless
this week
game
and
to
play
the Giants
Philly.
because
It's
they're in,
meaningless.
but this is a meaningful game to Philadelphia because they want home field throughout.
Listen, Philadelphia, we're going to talk about this one next.
Okay.
But so yes, Giants in the playoffs. Obviously the Colts are not. The Philadelphia Eagles without Jalen Hurts are like the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly. Gardner
Well, it
Minshew
is
did
what
what
it is.
backups do. Came in.
They played a good defensive team. A good defensive
Oh,
team,
dude.
and they lost.
Don't do this to yourself.
I do what to myself?
The
What-
New
are
Orleans
we gonna-
Saints headed into
Listen,
Philadelphia
are we
to
gonna
play
start
the
talking
Eagles.
about how bad Philly is and this and that? By the way, Jalen Hurts is going to play this week.
I'm aware.
I think you'll see a complete different team next week.
Nobody said how
Absolutely.
bad Philly is.
Okay.
What I said is Philadelphia without Jalen Hurts is not anything that anyone would have to worry about. At the end of
Right.
the day,
I think any team at this point without their starting quarterback wouldn't be much.
correct.
Wouldn't
Right.
be much at all.
Outside of
I don't
San
know.
Francisco.
Bengals,
I think I saw a
the
Barstool
Chiefs,
post about
the Bills.
Outside of
Eagles
San
a shot.
Francisco. San Francisco's the only team that has the defense and the weapons good enough to sustain a backup quarterback.
I would agree with that.
So, Philadelphia, if they get Jalen Hurts back this week, I expect them to throttle the Giants, get their first round bye, all of the above. But the game that they played against New Orleans, I mean, it was just, I'm sorry, it was ugly. It was ugly time running the ball. Gardner Minshew looked average at best. And somehow the Eagles defense was just missing opportunity after opportunity. And that's the only thing about this game that worried me, right? Andy Dalton completed 18 to 22
They only had the
passes.
ball for 22 minutes, and New Orleans had the ball for almost 37 minutes.
Right.
And they had 130
They-
yards. They put 130 yards rushing on a
They
pretty
couldn't keep him
damn
off
good
the field.
defense. So that's
They
enough.
could not keep him
That's
off
enough
the
to
field.
control the clock and to win the game.
So with Tampa's win, obviously the Saints are eliminated. And we all know the Eagles situation. I mean, do you think there's any chance they come out this week and lose to New York and create a situation where we're trying to decide if San
They
Francisco
have
is
to
really
win
the
to
best team in
clinch.
the NFC?
If they lose this game, Minnesota clinches home field.
No, Frisco.
Oh, I thought it was Minnesota. Or no, I thought it was Minnesota.
Well,
Minnesota
Minnesota
has
and
more
Frisco
wins
are
than
both
Frisco,
12
no?
and 4. They're both 12 and 4.
Oh, okay.
Personally, if Philadelphia is the team to beat, But I got news for you. The way San Francisco's playing right now,
Outstanding.
they look really, really good.
And they have to play the Cardinals next week.
And they get the Cardinals next week.
Right.
Let's talk about that San Francisco game. The 49ers headed into Las Vegas to play the Raiders, and a young man named Jarrett Stidham absolutely came out with his dick on fire. 23 for 34,
my man was throwing dimes out there.
He was tossing dimes. And guess what? He made that 49ers defense look very human for a while in this game. I'm not going to lie. The 49ers got lucky. They stayed in this game. I think personally, this was the wake-up call game for them because they've kind of been just winning and rolling for the last few weeks. And I feel like they took one in the jaw here. Josh Jacobs, 17 for 69 and 1 touchdown. I'll tell you this much. There's not a player in the league that I despise looking at the stat line more than Josh Jacobs, because all we did was praise him. He had so many games in a row where he was just putting together great game after great game after great game. And then all of a sudden
he put 70 yards and a touchdown on probably one of the best defenses there is.
Yes, but I'm talking
I don't think that's a bad day for him. I don't.
It's okay.
I don't. They just made the plays down the stretch that they had to make. I'm talking about the 49ers. They got that turnover and that changed the game.
Big Cock Brock, 22 for 35, 284, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Christian McCaffrey, 19 rushes on the ground, 121 yards and a touchdown. He also had 6 for 72 through the air. Deebo Samuel did not play again in this game. Ayuk, 9 for 101 and a touchdown. Kittle, 4 for 23 and a touchdown.
Dude, Ayuk is something special, dude.
My man's an athlete, I will say that. They got, between him and Deebo, if they could both be healthy and on the field at the same time, they've got some athletes there. It's Devontae Adams, 7 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darren Waller back off IR, 3 for 72 and a touchdown. Now, the thing we need to talk about, which we didn't last week, is this Derek Carr situation. Obviously, the Raiders benched him, started Jarrett Stidham, moved on from him, told him he could go home. They no longer wanted him with the team as a distraction. What does this mean?
It is a distraction because Devontae Adams was tweeting about it on his thing. Said Derek Carr's his brother, no matter what. And is what it is. It is what it is. It is a distraction. Him not being in the building is a distraction.
You mean him being in the building?
I think him not being there is a big distraction too. You got a lot of guys on that team that were actually behind him. You know, and when you got a coaching staff that's not taking a little responsibility for their failures too,
this might be
is bullshit. Staff. They came out fired up. They played a good game against one of the better teams, top 3 teams in the league.
Correct.
And they still lost. And they the bottom line is they still lost.
Yeah.
The defense played a great game, and their defense has been their Achilles heel all year. So, you know what? I don't know what to say about it. It is what it is. I still think that Josh McDaniels is not a good coach. He's dysfunctional. I that's my opinion of him. He's a good offensive coordinator, but he's a shit head coach.
Josh McDaniels?
Yes.
I agree with that.
He's an exceptional offensive coordinator. He's a fucking garbage head coach.
Nobody's Belichick.
You'll see. When the killing part is I can't believe the guy got a second chance, and he's blowing this too.
It just doesn't make sense because Derek Carr was such a backbone for that team, and I don't know.
And why? What did he do wrong? Why? Because he wouldn't throw to Devontae Adams in triple coverage? Is that the reason why? I mean, that's basically what they're saying is he wasn't enough of a gunslinger? Give me a fucking break, dude. I'm so tired of hearing that shit. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Moving on. Let's talk about the next game. Jacksonville still has not secured their playoff spot, but they beat the Texans 31-3 this weekend.
They were hot and beat them soundly.
They were hot.
Soundly.
They were hot. And they play Tennessee this week. Obviously, right now, Jacksonville at 8-8, leading the division. Tennessee at 7-9. If Tennessee wins this game, they win the division. If Jacksonville wins this game, they win the division and eliminate Tennessee. Now, hypothetically, let's say Tennessee wins and the Bills win and the Jets win, then Tennessee and Jacksonville will both be in the playoffs. I don't think that's even a question, though. I think Jacksonville is one of the hottest teams in the league right now. I think Tennessee's abysmal. I think that Josh Dobbs as your starting quarterback is a fucking joke. I think Jacksonville is going to upset somebody in the playoffs. I really do. And I'm excited to see it. But
I want to see them win their division. I want to see them win their division and just have it outright.
1 year after the debacle, Trevor Lawrence did not have a great game. I'll say this. They did yank him at some point, but E.T. in 9 rushes, 108 yards and a touchdown. Jermichael Hasty had a touchdown on the ground.
I'll say this much. That was a test to how tough Houston played this game, that he didn't have the good numbers.
It was 31-3.
And they still got blown out.
Yeah.
They had the ball for 30 minutes. Literally,
it was awful.
30 minutes in time possession is all they had on to Jacksonville. 30 minutes. And I can't believe Houston had the ball that long. Didn't seem like it.
And only managed a field goal.
Yeah. They kicked a field goal. That was it.
Yeah.
You know? Shit show.
But Jacksonville's still rolling. I love Jacksonville.
I do too. I like Jacksonville too.
Next up, the Jets headed to Seattle in Mike White's first game back to play the Seahawks. Kenneth Walker, big
fucking
day.
Man-child.
Absolutely big day. 23 for 133.
We needed one thing out of the Jets, man.
He's swinging, dude. Kenneth Walker is swinging.
Kenneth Walker is absolutely swinging.
He's a monster, dude. I seriously think this guy gets another training camp under his belt. He's going to be exceptional next year.
To be honest, I don't think Geno Smith looked that good.
No, he didn't. Geno Smith did not look that good, and I'll be honest.
He looked like shit.
He had that one pass where he threw forward.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? We all said that Geno Smith, that there was a time when the real Geno Smith was going to come out, and I think you're starting to see that the past 3 weeks.
Their only saving grace was the fact that they played the fucking Jets.
Yeah,
and the Jets are just as much of a shit show. The Jets have no quarterbacks. They have nobody that they can put in there and get one decent game.
Well, I don't think Mike White. They pressured the shit out of him. He's obviously. I don't even know how that guy got put on the field, dude. Because he is not right. You could see he wasn't 100%.
Listen, they're awful.
Not yet.
He couldn't throw the ball. You seen he wasn't 100%.
Well, okay, but either way, they still don't have a quarterback.
They don't.
Zach Wilson is fucking impotent.
You put Zach Wilson
He's hurt,
there
and Joe Flacco's a fucking geriatric baby.
I still think they should have played Flacco too. I don't.
If they would have had Flacco the last 3 weeks, I think they would have
get
won.
one good game out of Joe Flacco. Get it? You're paying him. Get it?
You have him on there for a reason. Fuck it.
Either way,
I think Joe Flacco would have done better than Mike White.
I agree.
I do. I
agree.
Truly do.
What are your chances? I mean, you know what you're going to get.
You know, and this is why I don't think Robert Saleh is even a candidate for Coach of the Year.
No.
I don't even think he should be in the talks.
Seattle currently holding on to the last NFC wildcard spot. If they win next week,
They're
they
in.
keep it. If they win, they're in. The Jets, it's a clusterfuck. They got jumped by Pittsburgh. Miami's still in front of them.
And the Jets have to play Buffalo this week, I believe.
No,
or is it
they
New
don't.
England? No, New England is. Who do the Jets play
playing
this
Buffalo.
week?
The
coming
Jets
here?
play Miami.
Okay. They better hope to God two is hurt.
Yeah, so I mean that last wild card spot in the AFC is going to be a shit show. A shit show.
Well, should we talk about maybe more stupid decision as coaches have made than Ron
excuse me.
Rivera?
Real quick before we get into that, because the Jets were eliminated this weekend.
Okay.
So they're
We're done.
right off.
There you
We're
go.
done.
Good season,
You want
Robert
to talk
Saleh.
about
You let it all
you
fall
wanna talk
apart at
about-
the end.
Ron Rivera,
Yeah.
Carson fucking Wentz, baby. 3 picks.
And he did,
You
fucking
made the
blow
you made
job.
this call. What is he doing? What?
He did.
What the
no.
utter fuck that they were eliminated to, by the way. The
Yep.
Washington Commanders / Redskins are eliminated from playoff contention because their coach thought he had a better chance of winning with Carson Wentz than Taylor Heineke. And he
And
got
Carson Wentz is
exactly
fucking awful.
what he deserved.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If Carson Wentz is on an NFL team next year, sorry, I said a moment.
Oh, wow.
You had a
I
moment
won't.
like me.
I wouldn't even know what to say. He's fucking awful.
He's horrible.
He's awful.
Shit.
16 for 143 and 3 picks.
I'd rather have David Blau.
So would I. I don't know how you make
Let me
that
say
move and
this.
take Heineke out.
Deshaun Watson didn't look much better. Cleveland did
No,
everything
I'll
they
be
could
honest
to
with
give
you.
him the game.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, 9 completions, 169
If
yards.
Taylor Heineke
3
was
touchdown
quarterbacking
passes.
this game, the fucking Commanders would have won.
Honest to God, I don't disagree with you.
I truly
I don't
believe they
disagree
would
with
have
you.
won.
Because Wentz had, what, 2 pick sixes?
Yeah. He had 3 interceptions.
Mhm.
I think if
2 return
Heineke
for
was playing
touchdown.
this game, they would have won.
I agree. You know what? Ron Rivera seems like a decent
Absolute.
dude. Absolute fucking awful.
You know, this
Coaching
cat
decision.
didn't realize he was eliminated from he was
I know.
getting interviewed after the game, and this guy didn't even know that they were eliminated from the playoffs if he lost the game. What the actual fuck is that? What is that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
So, yeah, Commanders
Cleveland is
eliminated.
dog shit.
Cleveland
Cleveland
is
is
dog
dog
shit.
shit. And so is the Washington Commanders right now.
You want to know what sucks about that? Is I like the Commanders so much
I do
going
too.
into like the final stretch here. They had
And
such
I
a
feel
good
sorry
team
for
put
guys
together.
like Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, to go through these last 4 or 5 years of bullshit that they
Shit.
go through with Washington,
Garbage.
and to be on the cusp of
Mm-hmm.
getting into the playoffs and making some noise because they're a
and
dangerous
shitting the
team. I
bed
wouldn't
with
want
3
to play
weeks
them,
left.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shit the bed with 3 weeks left every year.
Yep.
Yep.
Unfucking believable. Unbelievable.
Next
I don't
up.
even know. Do we have to talk about this other game? Do
Baker
we
fucking
talk about the
Mayfield.
Titans game?
What?
Did we talk about the Titans game and Dak Prescott did everything in his power to give that game away? Yeah, we talked about that, no?
We did that last week.
Yeah, that's right. It was a Monday game, right? Yeah.
That was Thursday night.
Okay. Dak fucking Prescott. Dog.
Chargers Rams. Battle for LA. Baker Mayfield fucking sucks. Cam Akers.
Cam
19
Akers,
rushes,
dude. This guy's been
123
rejuvenated. What the
yards.
what's going on with this shit?
I don't know, dude. I mean, maybe he
They
just
went
had
from
it out
benching
with
this guy to
to-
putting him in a
to
lead
bell
role,
cow.
and he's been money since.
Yep. Van Jefferson, 3 receptions, 77 yards. Baker Mayfield, 11 completions, 132, sacked 3 times.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's fucking poop.
Outside that,
Fucking poop.
I mean,
Fucking
the
poop.
Chargers put 192 yards rushing on him, And
Austin Eckler,
that's about all they
big day.
needed.
Big day out of Eckler. 10 rushes, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 for 39 through the air. Mike Williams, 7 for 94. Keenan Allen, 5 for 60. Justin
Mike Williams
Herbert,
had
nice
a really
little
nice
game.
one-hander in that game. I don't
Yes,
know if
he
you've
did.
seen that. That was
Yep.
pretty sweet.
Great catch out of Mike Williams.
That looked like a Megatron catch.
You want to know what the Chargers look like they've got it figured out right now.
As long as their defense could continue to do what they're doing right now. I did notice Joey Bosa is back in the lineup, and he's been out most of the year. But I noticed he was back in the lineup, and they were kind of playing some good football. I mean, I get they were at home and stuff, but they were playing some nice football.
Yeah, so Chargers clinched the playoff spot. They are in as a wild card team. It looks like they could take on Jacksonville in the first round right now. As long
That'd
as
be a
Jacksonville
great
wins
game
this
in
week.
the first round.
It would
Great
be.
game.
It would be. Chargers clicking on all cylinders. Rams obviously eliminated. But obviously, as a Lions fan, much like last year, you are a Rams fan this week coming. So
It would not
they're the only
surprise
ones
me
that
at
can
all
save you now.
if the Rams start a different quarterback in this game outside of Baker Mayfield, and they start the garbagest quarterback they could find off the street, and they sit Cam Akers and they take it on the fucking chin and lose that game just to spite the Detroit Lions. It would not surprise me.
No,
Wouldn't surprise
Stafford
me much
comes
either, I'm not gonna
back, gunslings it, lets the Lions into the wild card. Anyway,
What was that?
It was
Stafford
one of
comes back
Bruce's
from
wet
where?
dreams. It was one of Bruce's wet dreams.
Oh,
what he said.
I
was thinking about it.
yeah.
There we go. Sunday night football was a
Divisional game.
between the Steelers and the Ravens, where Pittsburgh headed to Baltimore. And this right here,
It's a good
when
game.
when the Ravens get bounced in the first round by whoever they play, this is what I will use as my concrete proof that the Ravens are the worst 10-win football team ever. Najee Harris, 22 for 111.
He was a beast. He was a
Couldn't
beast.
stop him.
Huh?
Couldn't stop
Yeah.
him.
They had 200 yards rushing.
Yep. Yeah, because Warren, Jalen Warren, 12 for 76 as well. I mean, they ran the ball down their throat. Kenny Pickett, 15, 168, touchdown.
That's how you beat the
Freiermuth.
Ravens. How you beat the
And you wanna know
Ravens is
what?
simple. You run the ball right down their
Yep.
fucking throat. That's how you beat them.
And the Ravens offense, again, Dobbins, 17 for 93. Mark Andrews, 9 for 100. Outside of that, there's nobody on the team who recorded any meaningful stats.
Mark
Isaiah
Andrews
Likely.
finally looks like he's getting healthy.
Yes,
Finally.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, out of their wide receivers, because not Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, the receivers.
They only passed for 120 yards, and Andrews had 100 of it.
Deshaun Jackson, 1 reception for 9 yards, and Demarcus Robinson, 1 reception for 9 yards. That's your receiving core.
Yes. Your receiving
Fucking
core.
awful.
Your receiving core had 20 yards receiving.
18.
18
2 receptions,
well, I
18
said 20
yards.
on this. Yeah. All right. 18 yards receiving.
Yep.
Somebody must have caught the ball for 2 yards. Maybe a back. But anyway, when your tight end is tripling the production of your receivers, you're in trouble.
Both of them. Isaiah Likely had the touchdown.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's absolutely fucking awful. And guess what? You got to move. If Lamar's not ready to go, you got to do something and get a quarterback in there that's not Huntley, because he ain't it. He ain't it. You won't make it out of the first round.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Tebow's snipping around.
Huh?
So I heard Tim Tebow is always snipping around out there, just waiting to get picked up by a team. Anyway,
I've never heard of that.
what?
I've never heard of Tim Tebow even in the same sentence as another team.
Sniffing around.
Huh?
No, I'm saying
He hasn't played relevant football in fucking 10
right.
years.
But I'm saying Tim, he's always out there.
Yeah. He's an analyst. He's a college football analyst.
He's always out there.
So that is the week 17 wrap up. I will be back in studio for Friday's show.
Thank you, Jesus.
So we will be doing that one live.
We're doing it
real
live?
quick, an update on Damar Hamlin. There has not been much else other than the fact that he is still stabilized, still in the hospital. The Bills have returned to Buffalo. And other than that, there's not that many updates right now. Before Christmas, he did start a GoFundMe for a toy drive with a $2,500 goal that, as of this moment, is over $3.5 million raised. So at least out of all this, there's going to be $3.5 million going towards toys for children in Pennsylvania. So that's one good thing to come out of all of this, I guess.
$2,500?
It was a $2,500 goal.
Did he meet that? Did he meet the $2,500 goal?
Well, it's at 3.7
No, I
million.
know it is, but what I'm trying to say is it was for Christmas. So before Christmas, did he meet the goal or no?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I have
It was
no
for
idea.
Christmas presents.
It's a
said it.
toy drive.
All right, I'm just
It's a toy
asking a
drive.
question. That's all. I'm not trying to get weird or anything. I was just wondering if he met the $2,500
Well, you're getting
goal.
weird. You're getting fucking weird.
Okay.
Anyways,
I'm sorry, but I do have to say
just
something
stop.
about
Just stop.
what?
You know you're going to say something, and it's going to be
What?
awful.
That's going to offend people? All I'm going to say is this.
He's gonna say it
Watching
anyway.
the coverage yesterday on ESPN and on Fox and other, because I was flipping back and forth to different stations. As I'm watching this, and I don't like how people take advantage of the situation and try to make it into something personal or about them. And I've seen that quite a bit, and it's just dumb. Just if you guys don't know what to talk about, put something else on. Don't leave it like it was yesterday. That was awful. That was awful. Your coverage was awful. Yeah, you having people on there assessing and telling people what they think is fucking awful. Just put something else on. Just shut it down and put something else on. That's all I got to say about it.
Okay, anybody? Bruce, anything to add?
I agree with what he said.
Beautiful. That's it. Make sure to check out our Instagram
What are you
and
hanging
Twitter
out the
for-
window? It looks like you're hanging out the window right now.
What are you talking about?
It looks like you're hanging out a window right now.
What?
Like you're ready to
Anyways.
just do a somersault out the window. That's what it
What?
looks like. I don't know. Where are you?
I'm in an office.
Turn
Are
the
you
camera
on, are you
around
on
so we
those
can check it
gummies
out.
again?
There's no windows. It's an empty room with a beige wall and a table.
Oh,
Anyways, Jesus.
where are you?
Make sure to check
Where
out
are you, by the way?
I'm in Miami.
I don't believe you're in a room in Miami with nothing in it.
Give us a little tour. Wow,
What's that big
there
white thing?
literally is
A
nothing.
fucking lamp.
There literally is nothing in that fucking room.
Anyways,
Are
thank
at
you
the
so much
Fountain
for
Blue,
listening
by the
to
way?
Yes, I am. Thank
Can
you so
open
much
a
for
window
listening to another.
and put the camera out the window for us?
Thank you so much for listening to another episode
Hey,
of
I'm
the Tip
asking
Balls
a
Podcast.
question here.
There's no window. I just told you
Wait,
that.
go the other way.
Since when is the Fountain Blue doesn't have a window?
Because I'm in an office in the fucking banquet area.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We thought
I'll
we were
send
gonna
you
see-
pictures.
Yeah, hey, the next time you do this, if you're not fucking back here, we want to see some palm trees and some stuff, asshole.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to another
And
episode
when
of
you
the
coming
Tip Balls
back again, you
Podcast.
said?
Bruce, shut him off.
He's muted.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TipBalls. Thanks for listening. You'll hear from us again on Friday.
Recording stopped.
Oh, my perfect.